It's Championship Showdown Day, the final round of Fanatec GT World Challenge Europe powered by AWS Endurance Cup brings us to the Circuit de Catalunya. We're outside Barcelona and it is a two-way fight for the overall crown. It is Mercedes versus Ferrari. Antonio Fuoco, the Ferrari driver, takes on the Acodis ASP Mercedes might. Raffaele Marciello, Jules Gounon and Danny Juncadella lead the championship and they are in the pound seats with the final 3-hour race of the season to come. The Mercedes has been a mighty car all season, although mechanical woes did put it out of action last time at Hockenheim. It means they didn't score there, but they're still ahead in the standings and looking to take the crown this weekend.
Well, it's not up to us, it's up to our rivals they are the ones that need to do something about it. We just focus on ourselves. We have a really strong car. We've always been very strong here, so we are confident that we can bring this home. And especially for me, it's my home race, so I'll enjoy it double if we win and if I do it in front of my home crowd.
As Danny said, we've always been quick here. We don't have to find anything crazy. We have to be close to the Ferrari and then everything will be okay.
Last year we had a quick car, but this year is different tires and stuff. We just need to be humble, work the way we did the whole season, continue to give everything, and then we see what happens.
Antonio Fuoco didn't score either at Hockenheim. That means that he's on the back foot coming into this weekend. He's doing the chasing, but he's got a quick car, he's got two quick co-drivers, and the Italian former single-seater racer knows he's in with a good chance.
We felt quite ready. We want to give our maximum. We were a bit unlucky the last race, but we arrive here in Barcelona with all the team. I think we are on a good position. We know that 11 points is not easy, but we need to do our best. We need to try to do a really 3 good laps on quali and then push for the race. That we know is 3 hours is a long race, but somehow it's also a short race. So we need to push from the beginning until the end.
It's our final Endurance Cup race of the season. There are, of course, sprint championship points that have already been scored to add to these endurance to give you the full season overall combined championship. The overall class for any drivers. In Pro-Am, you've got a make-up of platinum and 2 bronze. In the Silver Cup, it's silver drivers only, and a maximum of 1 platinum, 1 silver and 1 bronze within the Gold Cup. For a race like this, we've got 48 cars from 7 different manufacturers. Audi, BMW, Ferrari, Lamborghini, McLaren, Mercedes and Porsche, all represented on the grid. There are mandatory pit stops, in which all 4 wheels must be changed. You do a driver change as well, and a maximum driver stint, 65 minutes, and there's a minimum refuelling time as well for every car. That's the time that the fuel hose has to be connected for. There's 1 point for pole position in each class, and for this race it's 25 for a win, points for the top 10, with just 1 point scored for 10th position. For the teams, there's also the Fanatec points boost, 5 points for the winning team, based on the results of the Pro esports race held on the Saturday evening in the Fanatec arena. And this Fanatec GT race, part of the global competition, which is being led by Mercedes AMG from Audi Sport, and third and chasing is Ferrari. And so we are almost ready to go racing. It has been a really interesting weekend thus far because so much of yesterday was down to tyre usage when we had pre-qualifying and free practice. This morning's qualifying session in pretty chilly conditions, and now as the grid starts to form, temperatures are much higher than we experienced this morning. And for the teams, this is the first time really they will have run new rubber in these much warmer temperatures. The grid, based on the average of the times set this morning in qualifying, it puts the Ferrari of Antonio Fuoco onto pole position, thanks to his efforts, as well as those of Alessandro Pierguidi and Alessio Rivera. David Addison and John Watson trackside, and of course, 1 car, 1 driver, around whom there's a huge amount of attention. Number 46 Audi, Valentino Rossi's fans are here in big numbers. This the 60th Endurance Cup race since the championship began in 2011. And you've seen the thank you, it's been a blast legend on the WRT run Audis. This starts to bring to an end the Audi WRT Association. Again, there are these IGTC races to factor in, but as far as Fanatec GT is concerned, it's the end of an era. And WRT and Audi, something like 30 titles won in GT racing. And it is then on pole position, Alessandro Pierguidi alongside him, Klaus Bachler. The final round of the championship is go, go, go. Lights are green. It's Ferrari that will lead. Porsche, then Lamborghini on the run down towards turn 1. So Alessandro Pierguidi gets the drop on everybody. Klaus Bachler is second, and an effort being made on the inside line there by Jack Aitken to try to get up the inside of the blue Lamborghini from Emil Frey Racing. He's done it, he's gone through. So Jack Aitken is second, and now we need to see everybody making it through safely. There's one that's run wide and off the road and back on again. It's one of the Audis, I think. Also, Philip Eng's BMW was off the track and back on. But so far, so good. But a really good getaway then by Pierguidi.
He used every advantage of being in pole position and then ran down into turn 1 clearly in the lead, but a great start by Jack Aitken to get that 63 Lamborghini ahead of Klaus Bachler. That's a difficult car to overtake under normal circumstances. To do it into the first corner will give Aitken that opportunity to now focus on the back of the 71 Ferrari. You never know what's going to happen at the end of 3 hours.
Indeed so. But right now, Pierguidi is trying to build that lead. Jack Aitken in second place, and there on the outside line, number 2, that's Mauro Engel, and he's going toe-to-toe with the Audi of Charles Weerts. Look, as they come up the hill, and stays ahead of him. So the Mercedes fends off Audi. What we haven't yet really factored in is whether rival Mercedes teams might help Curtis ASP, because it's the same brand, even though it's a rival team, to take on Ferrari. Big dive to the inside by Ollie Wilkinson in the McLaren. That's Valentino Rossi ahead of him and alongside him, but Rossi goes a little bit wide and the door is open, but the McLaren now tries to get up alongside. Rossi will have the inside line, look for the next corner, stays ahead.
Yes, give enough room in turn 10 and got through turn 11 cleanly and got ahead, or kept ahead of Ollie Wilkinson in the 38 Judah McLaren. So Valentino Rossi has survived the first 2/3 of the opening lap here in Barcelona, but down into the very tight and twiddly, and look, 38 McLaren has to shortcut. Now, did he make up a position or not in the process? If he did, he'd have to give that back. Would like to see that again, because it all happened in the blink of an eye.
Well, he didn't gain a place, I don't think, but he gained time, didn't he? Because he was able to go quicker through that section, came out ahead, and we've got a car that's run wide coming off turn 16. You saw it in the background. It is one of the Emil Frey Lamborghinis, number 19 it was, that ran wide. That's Leo Roussel. He's got going again, and we've got a car coming into the pit lane as well, and that's 188. So one of the cars fighting for the Pro-Am lead in the championship. Alexander West at the end of the opening lap has just come down the pit road. So drama, there he is in Pro-Am right from the start. Alexander West to the pits. Now this is fun and games coming from the chicane down towards turn 16, and getting turned around was the number 31 Audi, and that's why 188 is in the pits, because it got caught up in that incident as the Audi of Finlay Hutchison was turned around and the McLaren glanced it, and there's probably enough damage to put that, well, it's going to be as good as out of the race, because it's going to lose at least a lap, if not 2.
Yeah, you can see carbon fibre being shredded between the Audi and the McLaren, so McLaren an innocent victim of that incident, and very frustrating for the Garage 59 team.
As far as the Gold Championship is concerned, right now it's an absolute tie between the Iron Dames and Inception Racing, so that would come down, I can't do it quickly enough, to the number of wins that each of the two teams has had, because if it's a tie on points, then you go to wins, then you go to seconds, and so forth. Chris Froggatt also making progress, and in the Gold category at the moment, on track, running ahead of Brendan Ariebs. So it's down to Ollie Milroy and Frederick Schandorf to try and bring that car further up the order. They should be able to do it, they're quick drivers both.
Well, on board with the McLaren, looking at the back of the 93 Sky Tempesta. Mercedes down into the braking zone, into turn 4. Get the nose in, looks pretty good from the McLaren perspective, looking to the rear of the Mercedes to see whether the back of the car is planted at the point when you get back on the throttle, and that would give any sort of indication. Oh, and runs slightly wide on the exit coming through turn 5, so you can see how much stretch has gone to the advantage of the 93 Mercedes. And up the inside, Fisichella didn't need to be asked twice, but that was the error coming through turn 5, and not just one car, 2 cars have gone through the McLaren. One corner, 2 cars pass you.
That Porsche is another Gold Cup class car, so the Porsche of Ralph Bowen has gone through. That's, I mean, I know things won't stay as they are, but to go back to the points, that's just taken points away from the McLaren, which therefore means there's no longer a tie. If things were to stay as they are now, that would be the Gold Cup in the championship to the Iron Dames, because Brendan Ariebs has just lost a place, and now he's been given a hard time, and he's tagged into a spin by the Lamborghini. Around he goes. 27 was Isaac Lopez, who gave him a bit of a tag in the tail, and Brendan Ariebs, well, his lap's gone from bad to worse. He's lost places, and now he's going to try and get going. This is not good news at all for Bas Linder's team. Let's have another look at this. The Lamborghini went for a gap that was never there.
I mean, it's a very difficult place to pass at the best of times, but sticking your nose up the inside with a car that is virtually on the race line on the entry into a corner, all you do is you tap the rear of the car. There's the view from Brendan Reeve. He'll be thinking, what have I done to deserve this? And that was clearly a penalty. In my view, that'll go to the Lamborghini.
And there is 52 with a punctured tyre. So coming up towards turn 3, this is going to make it interesting in Pro-Am, because the championship leaders with a puncture limp round, and they've got a lot of lap to limp.
Absolutely. He's just come out of turn 3 in the car. He needs to be aware that the speed he's running out of that tyre starts to fall further apart. At the minute he can get back, but if that tyre starts to, you can see how much it's oscillating. Wait to see it on the straight. Well, oh, there it goes. The tyre's been deflating over the previous lap, and then the tyre just eventually super overheats, and that's all it can do. The tyre just gives up and breaks the bead between the tyre and the rim.
Into the pit lane now comes Junqueira. Into the pit lane now also comes Charles Weert. So this is another important stop for Danny Junqueira. Valentino Rossi is in as well, and so is the leader. Alessandro Pierguidi comes into the pit lane.
I don't know why they brought the Iron Lynx Ferrari in. They didn't need to. They could have stayed out, but they will be looking at not about what time they come in, it's about when they go back out. Where will they fall back into the whatever remaining field? We've still got 46 cars in the race, so they don't want to put that Iron Lynx Ferrari out behind a group of cars that he will struggle to get clear of, and therefore potentially lose to the 88 Mercedes, which might be more fortuitous.
And also they're perhaps thinking about tyre life. So if the tyres are starting to go away at the end of a stint, as people were predicting they would, then that's another reason to bring in the car. Back into the race goes number 911 Porsche then. And so here coming towards us is the Ferrari. Alessio Rivera has taken it over.
Well, there's no sign of the 88. Well, they all came out much at the same time. The 88 still up.
Incident between car 911 and 56 is under investigation.
That's the contact between the Porsche we'd heard about. Right, away goes Gounon, and just stays ahead of the Audi there as he comes down the pit lane. That's being the Gulf Audi. And there, look, is the Mercedes of Stein Scotthorst, and so Gounon will be ahead of him as they come back onto the circuit. So the Codis ASP car has made progress, and they're 32 behind. So Junqueira's car now with Jules Gounon at the wheel stays ahead of number 32. Number 2 Mercedes then is the one that's lost out on that round of pit stops.
Yeah, 2 positions, and I mean that's the roll of the dice in the pit lane. You make your best efforts during a pit stop, but to lose 2 places, particularly the 88 Mercedes, they were running behind virtually for the entire race.
Back into the race, Nikolai Sheargard, and there's Jules Gounon, desperate to try to clear him, gets in the middle of traffic, gets past the Porsche, can't get past the McLaren, but there's a right old scrum of cars here, and the one that comes off worst there, look, was Stein Scotthorst, because he was briefly blocked by number 91 Porsche that goes out wide. So through that battle pack has come Jules Gounon, but he's not yet been able to clear the McLaren, and through on the inside line there goes Ricardo Feller. Feller takes a place away from Gounon.
Good pass by Feller, again using the opportunity with traffic and reading the situation very well indeed. Up the inside, can the Audi get through? Oh, very close indeed, but no, McLaren just about was able to consolidate, but Ricardo Feller got past 88 Mercedes, and Jules Gounon will be very upset with himself for allowing that pass to take place, dropping 1 position, only 1 position. It's still going to be hard work to get that back.
It will, and he's worked so hard to try and get there, but now he's going to do it all over again. So there's another line of cars coming down the pit lane. Right, move to the inside line there. Look, the McLaren goes diving through. Manuel Maldonado tries to squeeze past 56, which he does. The Porsche not fighting for position, so lets the quicker cars go. Through has gone Ricardo Feller. And there to the outside line goes Scotthorst, tries to go through.
Very difficult on the outside. Porsche does give him room, lets him get through, but it costs a little bit of time. The 12 Audi likewise is having to go the long way around turn 13. And this is the congestion you get when the track gets very busy. But look, oh, contact. Who was behind the wheel? Was that Valentino still?
No, that was Nico Müller.
No,
right, getting a replay here. This is the Porsche going wide. Now look, as Gounon goes wide, up the inside goes Ricardo Feller, and the Audi got the drive off turn 3 to go through and take the place. So there, in replay, into turn 4, up the inside, Ricardo Feller, good job done. But the number 56 Porsche, as you've just seen, turned around by Nico Müller. The Porsche has come into the pit lane, Giorgio Roda's car, but I think Nico Müller now has a case to answer.
Let's watch again and see.
This is Nico Müller trying to go to the inside of Giorgio Roda, and there's the contact. He was almost alongside, backed out, but then another bit of contact turned the Porsche into the wall. So the flash of the lights, Manuel Maldonado comes up to have a go then now at Valentin Pierberg. He goes to the inside line, also committing his fella. And what about Gunon? Has he been able to go through? Yes, but you see how much the Mercedes lost there in a straight line. So the traffic, for the moment, out of the way, but Gunon is the one that's lost out on pure pace in a straight line.
Yeah, likewise, the number 2 Mercedes is having to be patient, waiting to come through the exit of turn 3. But Feller has, again, he's using the traffic, using the opportunities, I think, extremely well.
Yeah, and also through on the inside there, Christopher Hauser chasing after Stein Scotthorst. Behind them, 11 is Nico Müller. Yeah, on the inside goes Feller, and also then Müller through the traffic, but at the other side of the corner, through has gone Ricardo Feller. He's done it, he's got ahead of the McLaren.
That's what I call proper racing.
So, it can be done. They can get past McLarens, and Ricardo Feller doing what Charles Wirtz couldn't do. Next person to come and have a go at Manuel Maldonado will be Jules Gunon. Here it is, on board with Feller.
Yeah, the McLaren slightly unstable coming out of turn 4, and all of a sudden you see the Audi gets the opportunity, gets up down the inside, forces the issue, and good work by both drivers. That could have been a bit of a rub, but they stayed apart.
This is the Gold Cup lead battle. Look who is behind Scholzer. It's Michel Gatting in the Iron Dames Ferrari. So not only are they looking good in the championship, they're looking good to try to win the championship by winning the class within the race here. As Michel Gatting does commit to the inside at turn 4, goes through. Great move.
Yeah, good move. Caught unexpectedly, I think, the Mercedes, and she put it down the inside, held her ground and got the advantage coming off turn 4, then clear of the Mercedes into turn 5, and now that car will drive away because it is clearly quicker in an overall lap, running in 27th up to now 26th position with that overtake. Good overtake.
It was, and straight away, as you suggest, getting away from Florian Scholzer. So this is the perfect way to win the championship. Now, while this car is leading, down in 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10th in class is the Inception Racing McLaren. So Ollie Milroy is doing his best to get back into the mix, but the time lost early on when Brendan Ariba was whacked into that spin really has cost them dear. So it rather looks as though his trip from America is going to be for nothing, and Michel Gatting and the rest of the Iron Dames are looking very, very good right now. Now there you can see Nico Müller, and let's hear from Valentino Rossi, who's completed his stint. He's with Gemma Scott in the pits.
Vale, that looked like a very good stint. Did you enjoy it?
Yes, I'm happy. It's the best stint of the season because it's a long one, it's 1 hour. And I did a good start. I was able to gain 2 positions, and especially I was the last of the train, but stay all the stint with the top guys, with the pro drivers, and I stayed there with the new tire. I had a good pace, and also especially at the end with the old tires, I was able to stay on the tail of Kyoto, and it was good. I enjoy a lot, and now we are there. It's an interesting race. It's very long. Everything can happen, but I'm very happy about my last stint of the season.
Absolutely. Can you sum up very briefly this year?
Sorry?
Can you sum this year up very briefly for us?
Yeah, it's good. It's a difficult challenge because you have a lot of fast drivers, but it's more or less what I expect. You need to improve your skills to drive the car, but also you need to learn a lot of different aspects of the endurance races. That for me is a completely new world because MotoGP races is completely another way to race. So you need some experience, but I'm happy about the season, I'm happy about the team, and I enjoy.
You coming back next year?
Coming back next year, yes.
Fantastic. Thanks, Vale.
Thank you. Ciao, ciao tutti. Ciao.
He's back next year, great news. And there is the leading car, so Alessio Rovera leads the way. Now, let's start looking at sector times here. His first sector is better than that of Costa, better than that of Picariello, so maybe it is traffic affected. But as I say, the gap has been coming down consistently over the last few laps. There in the background, look, is that second and third placed fight. Antonio Fuoco, though, is still on target, if things stay as they are, to win the Drivers' Championship.
It looks very much as if the Ferrari was getting through those slower cars. That's accounting for where the time might have been lost. Now that he's cleared them, We've now got to see how Albert Costa and Alessio Piccarello can get through up the inside. And that's as Gugnon gone through. He finally may has gone through.
He has, I think, yep, so he's done it, he's gone by, the Mercedes comes through, and now, look, also starts Scott Horst on his toes, and there's a bit of rubbing between him and Maldonado, and the Mercedes moves across. Maldonado tries to stand his ground on the inside. Now Christopher Halser goes to the outside line in the Audi. Can he get the inside line for the next corner? Yes, he can. Has he got the drive up the hill? Yes, he has. And Halser goes through. So Maldonado, 3 places lost in about 3 corners.
Yeah, it frequently happens. You get one position lost, and all of a sudden the train of cars behind you capitalizes on your slightly wayward line, and then they all go through. So the 2 and the Audi likewise have gone through the 12. So big loss for Maldonado on garage 59, but it's released Jules Gounon. And what can he do? Let's watch it again, coming down the hill out of turn 5 through 6, side by side into 7 and 8, but the Mercedes had the track position, and there was not very much Maldonado. He tried to come back going up the hill into turn 9.
That's taken about 44 laps to do that move.
Look how close the McLaren is to the back. I mean, virtually hanging on. It goes to the left to try and take the long, and that's the reason why he lost more positions. He made a decision to try and go the long way around the outside of turn 9, and the track out there is dirty. Now, Scott Horst has got to go defensive to preclude Maldonado getting down the inside as well.
And there, Scott Horst versus Halser. Christopher Halser tries to get up alongside. That's the inside for turn 3. He's almost level. He's run out over the curb. He stands his ground on the inside. They rub again. I am coming through, says Christopher Halser. And he's done it. He's gone 6th. It was robust, but it was hard racing.
And that's what I want to see. I want to see good professional drivers racing. And that was good move by Christopher Halser. Again, he's been working lap upon lap upon lap. And whatever occurred in turns 1 and 2, because that's where that overtake all began, gave Halser the momentum to get up alongside in the inside into turn 3.
Gounon in the pit lane. So Jules Gounon in, so out of the traffic to put Raffaele Marciello in to see what they can do. And also in has come Manuel Maldonado. Right, so we've got Raffaele Marciello set to get on board 88. Here are the race leaders then, trying to work their way through the traffic. Rivera has to commit to the inside line here.
Yes, he gets alongside, and the ground was basically conceded, but look up the inside, the Porsche gets up alongside Costa, and it's a hip and shoulder, but Costa's on the inside into turn 12. Porsche will not really succeed going around the outside, falls back in behind the Lamborghini, but that was a tense moment. Could have been a change of position.
Indeed, could have been even worse than that, couldn't it? They've survived it, but they've also got stuck in the traffic a little bit. Costa dives up on the inside line there, goes through, gets himself past Alan Valente. And now Picariello goes for the pit lane then. So he couldn't quite go through. He comes into the pit, and Rivera just slightly impeded, I thought, by a back marker coming onto the pit straight. Through he goes in the lead. The margin was half a second between Rivera and Costa. It's down to 3/10.
I think it was a timely pit stop, a pit call from Dynamic Motorsport to bring the Porsche in. Side by side, down. Does the lead change? It has changed.
Through goes Costa. He's taken over the race lead on the inside line. The car ahead coming out of the pit lane was Raffaele Marciello. He now has got to stay a lap ahead, if you like. He's got to stay ahead of the Lamborghini. The team is absolutely delighted, and Mirko Bortolotti then is going to get into a car that leads the race, and suddenly things are also a little bit more optimistic maybe for Acodis ASP, because that Ferrari effectively has got to win the race, and right now it's been bumped into second.
Costa's in.
He is indeed, and Rivera is in as well, so he's lost his lead, but let's see what happens in the pits. So out gets Rivera, out gets Costa. Mirko Bortolotti, who has another mission this season, which is to win for every Lamborghini team he's driven, whether it's been Grasser, whether it's been FFF. He's also won for a non-Lamborghini team, which is WRT, but he wants a win for Emil Frey, and this could be the one. So new sticker tyres go onto the car. There is Matteo Cairoli, who is out of sequence, of course, having already pitted. Albert Costa rushes into the garage, ready to celebrate the fact that he got the lead, tear off the windscreen of the Ferrari, so it's clear vision for Fuoco. And look at how pleased Costa is. He's absolutely destroyed the garage there.
Fantastic. Absolutely pumped like you can't imagine. And he did, tried, and eventually at the end of the straight made that pass, and wow, was it a great pass.
But he's ahead coming out in the Ferrari. Fuoco has jumped back ahead on the pit stop, so Albert Costa's work is in vain. Matteo Cairoli has taken over the lead of the race, I think I'm right in saying, on the track in the Porsche. But look, on the pit stops, Iron Links are back ahead of Emil Frey Racing. So little good did it do Emil Frey. Yes, it was a good move by Costa, but in terms of a pit time, it was a 1 minute 12 for the Lamborghini, a 1 minute 9 for the Ferrari, and that therefore means that the Iron Lynx Ferrari is back ahead.
Oh, Mirko Bortolotti, you're made of stone stuff. You're going to have to stand up. Albert Costa, well, you can see the joy when he came into the pits, absolutely over the moon about his drive and securing the lead, but it came into the pits, basically the lap following, but nonetheless a great drive from the Spanish driver.
There over the line goes 88 then, so Raffaele Marciello is 7th at the moment, but as I say, this is going to become effectively 5th on the next round of pit stops because we've got a couple of cars ahead that are due in.
Well, I mean, we don't know what tyre set that Akodos were able to fit to Marcello's car, but if you're going to put basically your fastest driver in at the last stint, you want to give him the best opportunities. So he has got that fastest race lap, and he needs then for those other cars that are due a pit stop to clear to give him whatever chance he has of running and challenging the 71, which is currently in second place. And Bortolotti's dropped back 2 seconds on the Ferrari.
Indeed so. It's a curious one, this, as to why the car is dropping away so markedly, having been so good in that previous stint. Let's find out about Rovera's stint, first of all, in the Ferrari. Why did he lose pace? Well, Gemma is there to ask the questions of him.
That was a very, very tough stint you've just driven. Were you losing pace as you were coming towards the end of that session?
Yeah, the stint was horrible on my side. It was very difficult. I didn't have the pace from the beginning, and I really don't know why, because during free practice and also qualifying, everything was good. My teammates are fast, so I'm really sorry. But now we have still 52 minutes, and Antonio is super fast. He will give everything to win.
We've seen how quickly things can change and how much the pit stop was really relevant as well to the situation at the moment.
Yeah, thanks to the guys, we regained the position on the Lamborghini. There is still the Porsche to pass that did an undercut. We'll see.
Thank you.
So Alessio Rovera, conscious that he might be perceived as the weak link there, but yeah, saying he was struggling for pace all stint. And in fairness, others have been in the same boat. And look at the way that Raffaele Marciello is now going, because he continues to be doing good lap times. And that's the Iron Dames Ferrari in a problem. So the car that was on target to win the Gold Cup, Rahal Frey at the wheel of it, is off the racetrack. And just as one Iron Lynx Ferrari helps another, the third is off the road. Now, is that trying to rejoin? I think it is.
It's a strange way to stop. I think you could have moved. The car rolled to the very edge of the entry into turn 4, and that looks to be a hydraulic, electrical, mechanical issue. The team are looking at and Sarah Bovey absolutely distraught, but looking at her face. Having done a great job. Michelle Gatting also doing a superb job. Now the Ferrari engineers are looking at the on-board information that they have, and it's at a reset. Well, there it is, the car going slowly on the exit of 3. It's almost in limp home mode. It's going that slowly.
In fairness to Rahal Frey, she did a great job of getting off the racetrack. The road was clear, and there they studied the data and trying to work out what's dipped, what's gone. Oil pressure, fuel pressure, hydraulics, whatever. If they can look at the data and analyse that and then try and assess whether it can be brought to the pit lane. But that's got a sense of
doomed.
Yeah.
It looks to me as if they're not going to get that car back. If they do get it back, they're out of position anyway. So that is a very sad end to a very fine effort by the Iron Dames here this weekend.
The information is that the car has stopped at turn 4. The team fully aware of that. So that puts now, despite the damage, Robert Renault's Porsche into the lead of the class. It's got a 5-second time penalty, though, to add on at the end of the race. And the Iron Dames now, they know the car isn't restarting anytime soon. They know that they're losing time, losing laps. Full course yellow is called for by the race director.
Well, there's no surprise on that whatsoever. Look at the bodywork, or lack of bodywork on that. I mean, it's a sort of a semi-open wheel Porsche.
It is, and that's going to give the championship to Ollie Milroy, Frederick Schandorf and Brendan Aribe after all, if things stay as they are.
Safety car lights off.
Here's the instruction, safety car lights off then. So the safety car with Jeremy Doval at the wheel of it will head for the pit lane this time. Matteo Cairoli versus Antonio Fuoco, the two Italian drivers about to go toe-to-toe for the race lead. But Fuoco, well, for him, it's more than just the race lead, it's the championship lead. So there's a lot hinging on this restart for him. And he can't overtake until he gets to the line, and Matteo Cairoli will decide when he accelerates. So into the chicane. Doesn't go yet, doesn't go yet.
Green flag, green flag.
Green flag on the start line. Now out of the chicane, Matteo Cairoli floors the throttle, pulls away by length as he comes onto the pit straight, and Antonio Fuoco is not staying with him. Look as they come across the line. So the gap as we go racing once more with 79 laps in the book, 6/10.
So a little bit of weaving on the straight to try and get tyre temperature back up. Tyre pressures to a lesser degree. You can see Bertolotti pulling out to the right, trying to get down into the inside, into turn 1, but on board with the Ferrari following the Porsche as they make their way now through turn 3. And a great start by Cairoli. He did it perfectly just on the edge of the turn 15, floored the throttle. The Porsche leapt out of the corner, and Fuoco, who was right on the tail of the Porsche, but just the advantage was to the Porsche driver.
But I reckon Cairoli now is going to be able to build this gap. Let's see. Fuoco knows that he's got to get on with this. He's got to get past. The team will be telling him this as well. They'll have kept him appraised of the situation. So Antonio Fuoco now hustles on.
What's happened to the Inception has been overtaken left, right and centre. What has gone on with this car? This is the car that could have won their championship.
Got a problem, hasn't it?
It has a problem. It's been overtaken, as I say, left, right. There it is, coming down into turn 10. Literally, not quite a limp Rome mode either, but that car is going to go straight into the pit lane.
So Frederic Schandorf isn't necessarily going to be the Gold Cup champion because that car, as John rightly says, is heading for the pits. It's got a problem. So Frederic Schandorf comes through turn 12. Is it stuck in gear? It's in second gear.
Don't know what it's doing, but he's on the steering wheel, weaving around. I can't understand.
It's still in second gear. I think it's stuck in gear. It's got a gearbox problem, hasn't it? So the McLaren.
Oh, a lock-up, a smoke coming from the back of the car.
It's got a puncture.
That's what it is. It's a puncture.
Okay,
he was in second gear because he was coming slowly. So he's been either been tagged or he's picked up something around the racetrack, and that is again, I mean, unpredictable. And well, that's what you get at a restart.
Now, is this where the McLaren of Frederic Schandorf picked up the damage? Let's see.
Yeah, it looks like so either he picked up something or clipped the curb. Sometimes if you catch a curb badly, the sharp edges will cut through anything, let alone a piece of rubber. So that was where it all went wrong on the exit of turn 8. So there is Fred Rabiche in the 6th position. Well, Fred Rabiche has got the pace clearly, but again he's got to deal with all the traffic likewise. So up the hill we go into turn 10, sorry, turn 9, but not really in a position to affect an overtake down the hill, and traffic blocking, and that was a bit clumsy. Just look at Fred Rabiche. Frustration setting in, you can see just all the way through this long turn 12, the Porsche directly ahead of the Mercedes. It's sort of using all the road and more. As this the 87 car go down the inside. Is there going to be contact? Is there contact? Well, yes, there is. The Porsche and the 87 Mercedes. What a surprise that was. You could have written the script for that.
So more drama down at the chicane, and that Porsche has had such a seesaw race, hasn't it? It carries on. It's got another queue of cars behind, and now up towards the line they come. Jules Gounon probably doesn't know where to look for the overall situation. Right now, though, he should be champion, Gemma.
Jules, you're literally standing here with your fingers crossed on both hands. Just tell us, at the end of your stint, you had a slow puncture?
Yeah, we actually are really, really lucky. I had a slow puncture 3 laps to the end of my stint, which is the pit window open. You know, in GT World Challenge, you cannot exceed a driving time of 1 hour 5, and I couldn't box, so I had to finish the 3 lap with 0.80 bar on the tire at the end, so it was kind of very, very lucky. I don't know, 20 minutes to go, something like this. I don't want to watch anymore. Danny's having a massage to not watch, so we don't want to watch. We just cross fingers.
We'll keep them crossed for you. 14 minutes.
Thank you.
And a change there. Look, Arjun Maini goes through for the lead of the Gold Cup, gets himself ahead of 57, Lucas Auer. So Arjun Maini goes back into the lead of the Gold Cup in the race, not championship, but the race situation. 5 minutes, 58 seconds and counting, and a new class leader. They are still fighting right the way to the flag, aren't they?
I mean, it's a great battle between these 3 Mercedes, each different categories, and somewhat to the frustration of Nick Yellowley, who's now got the Marvin Kirchhoff for McLaren looking like it might even threaten to move down into turn 10, but thinks the better of it.
Nick Yellerly still looking for a way past the traffic. Kirchhofer likewise. And there we've got the silver lead having changed as well. So that's now Neubauer ahead of Dean McDonald, and having got clear of the McLaren, he's getting away. Thomas Neubauer, the champion anyway this year, tries to break away as they drop down the hill. And Dennis Lind out of the pro class in the McLaren is right on the tail as well. So again, because they're all bunched up like this, there's the chance of more things happening up towards the timing line once again. We've now done 93 laps. We've got just over 5 minutes of the race to go. In 13th place is Dan Harper's BMW, the BMW Junior entry. If that finishes on the lead lap, it will be the only car in the championship to do every lap of the season. Fascinating fact 37 of the day. That car running in 13th place, as there, Danny Juncadella and Jules Gounon have come out to watch after all, because Raffaele Marciello is about 2 laps away from a title now.
Indeed he is, and race lead gap up to 1.3 seconds last time across the line, so a tenth to the benefit of Matteo Caroli, and he will come across start-finish line to complete what will be lap 96, and there'll be one final lap before the checkered flag.
And Matteo Cairoli then now makes the run up towards turn 12, and Antonio Fuoco has pushed hard. He's still pushing hard, but he's going to come so close and yet so far from winning the championship. Some of this you can point to the car didn't have pace at Spa, some of it you can point to the dramas at Hockenheim. But it is going to be a race win for the Porsche, because out of turn 16 comes Matteo Cairoli. The final round of Fanatec GT World Challenge Europe, powered by AWS Endurance Cup, won by Matteo Cairoli, Alessio Picariello, Klaus Bachler, by Dynamic Motorsport and by Porsche. It's a happy team. Antonio Fuoco takes second with Alessio Rivera and Alessandro Pierguidi. Not enough to win a championship, because the overall endurance crown is going to be won by Acodis ASP, by Mercedes, by Danny Juncadella, by Jules Gounon and Raffaele Marciello, who comes across the line now. They finish 5th in the race. That is the championship, and there is relief as well as joy. And look at this in gold. Absolutely no determined contact. Mighty punted off the road by Lucas Au, 2 corners from home, and the class leader dispatched towards the barriers.
Well, disappointing, that's all I will say about that manoeuvre.
Over the line, it is then Lucas Auer who takes the category win, but I can't believe that's not going to get away without a penalty. So that was oh so close, and Arjun Maini given a whack in the back, turned him off the racetrack, didn't it? And the rest of the field comes flooding over the line. Acodis ASP have already started to celebrate. So Klaus Bachler, Alessio Picariello and Matteo Cairoli take the win from Alessandro Pierguidi, Alessio Rivera and Antonio Fuoco. Third, Mirko Bortolotti, Jack Aitken and Albert Costa, with Dries van Thor, Ricardo Feller and Charles Witt finishing 4th, and the champions 5th, Raffaele Marciello, Danny Juncadella and Jules Gounon, with Fred Vervisch, Nico Müller and Valentino Rossi rounding out the top 6. Let's hear from Raffaele then.
Raffaele, congratulations. The title is finally yours. That was tough, but you held on.
It feels amazing, you know, after Spa. Overall, endurance, we have been great all the weekend, all the season, always on scoring points except Hockenheim. So, I mean, I'm really happy for me, the team, because we started to win this since a long time.
Absolutely. It's a well-deserved win and a tough race today. I mean, at one point we came into the garage and you guys were like, no, we can't talk. But the relief is there. Jules, you can finally uncross those fingers.
Yeah, actually it was painful. And Danny was also, what a season, you know, what a season for the team, for Danny, Lelo, me, Acodis, to win Spa, to win the driver title. We always wanted to do it, so amazing title. Thanks to Mercedes, the whole team, my teammate, amazing.
A year you'll never forget. Danny, look a little bit like it hasn't quite hit yet.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of emotions, of course, and especially after a difficult weekend. Ferrari on pole, so we didn't really, we were not really sure we were going to take it, and luckily, you know, the strategy paid in our favor thanks to the Porsche that won. So. And we managed to get to P5, which is, I think, pretty much the maximum we could get today. So, yeah, great to win the championship and clinch off a season like this with Spa as well. So, yeah, fantastic.
Now, let's hear from the race winners next. It's Klaus Bachler, along with Matteo Cairoli and Alessio Picariello.
Guys, race winner Matteo, will come to you first. That was a stint you had to push the whole time.
You see my face probably.
Very hot.
No, definitely it was very hard out there, especially seeing Antonio coming. So it was not easy to manage, but you know, at least for once we had a good luck on our side. We finished the season on a high note, so that's the most important. I am happy for the two guys next to me and for the whole team because we deserve more during the year. But you know, it's better late than never. So I'm happy.
Absolutely. You know, it was a tough stint for all three of you. This race was one that was really full of action. I don't think we've had such a dramatic one all season.
Yeah, I mean, it was tough for everybody actually with the tire deck, and so it was difficult stints with a lot of fights, and but I mean, at the end, my teammates were great all weekend long. The team was mega with a really good strategy call with the undercuts. And I think the team deserve it. I'm really happy to share it because it's only my second races with the team, 2 podiums, 1 win. It's really nice.
Well, you got to stay now. Magic touch. Klaus, just a final quick word from you.
I mean, honestly, I'm really happy about this victory. The whole team deserved it. We spoke before. It was a tough season. We were leading races like Spa or Paul Ricard, but then in the end we did not finish. So it's a good end of the season. I'm happy about this. I think we did a really strong job from the whole crew, from the whole team, strategy, everything. The car was really quick. So I'm happy, and I'm really happy for the whole team, honestly.
Congratulations, all three of you. Well done.
Thank you.
Klaus Bachler, Matteo Cairoli, Alessio Picariello receive winners' trophies, and the Dynamic Motorsport drivers celebrate victory in the final Endurance Cup round of the Fanatec GT season here in Spain. So, Louis Machiels, Andrea Bertolini and Stefano Costantini victorious in Pro-Am, and they take the championship from Valentin Pierberg, Dominic Baumann in second place, Enrique Chavez, Miguel Ramos and Alexander West in third. Congratulations to Louis Machiels, Andrea Bertolini, once again taking Pro-Am honours, and the team's champions, AF Corsa, in the Pro-Am Cup overall. Benjamin Goethe, Thomas Neubauer and Jean-Baptiste Simonard win the Endurance Cup for the silver drivers from Nicolas Scherl, Alex Arca and Marius Zug. Stuart White and Constant Lapalainen coming home in third. But yeah, that's something else for WRT to celebrate in what's not been the best of seasons. Congratulations to WRT, to Jean-Baptiste Simonard, to Thomas Neubauer and to Benjamin Goethe. A clean sweep in silver for Thomas Neubauer and Benjamin Goethe, and for the Endurance, as we've been saying, joined by Jean-Baptiste Simonard. In the Gold Championship, Ollie Milroy, Frederick Chantour and Brendan Arib victorious, from Rahal Fry, Sarah Bovey and Michelle Gatting, then Robert and Alfred Renard and Ralph Bone third. You've got to feel sorry for the Iron Dames. Congratulations to Inception Racing, the Gold Champion drivers, Ollie Milroy, Frederick Chantour and Brendan Arib. The Gold Endurance Teams Champions, Inception Racing. So this is how we are overall in Endurance. A win for Jules Gounod, Danny Juncadella and Raffaele Marciello. They end the year as champions ahead of Antonio Fuoco. Then, not racing here, David Irigon and Daniel Serra. Klaus Bachler, with a variety of co-drivers, ends the year fourth. Lukas Stoltz and Stein Schrotthorst in fifth. Endurance champion team, overall champion team, Acodis ASP, the 2022 Fanatec GT World Challenge Europe powered by AWS. Overall champion, Raffaele Marciello. The Endurance champions, Raffaele Marciello, Danny Juncadella and Jules Gounod celebrates here in Barcelona. Thanks for your company this year. We look forward to seeing you at the Motorsport Games at the end of the month. But from all of us in Barcelona, goodbye.